Hello guys, now we are going to say about combination of springs. There are two cases when a number of springs are connected to each other. These are when springs are connected in parallel and when springs are connected in series. Now let us going to see when springs are connected in parallel. To know the equivalent spring constant, let me apply a load on the blocks if you can see here. Now the effect of a load is similar for all springs, therefore the change in length due to the applied load become the same. Now let's evaluate the spring forces using the spring forces by using Hooke's law. And indicates when a number of springs are connected in parallel or in series. Now W becomes the summation of all spring forces. Let's substitute the value of spring forces here. Now let's take a common factor, change in length. And let's substitute the value of W, which is this one, to here. Now let's cancel the change in length here. Finally, when springs are connected in parallel, the equivalent spring forces can be calculated based on this formula. Now when springs are connected in series, to know the equivalent spring constants, let me apply a load on the box, and the change in length due to the applied load is actually different. So each spring has their own change in length. But spring force 1, spring force 2, spring force 3, and spring force N is equivalent to the load that are applied on the box. Spring force 1, spring force 2, spring force 3, spring force N. And let's compute the change in length. Change in length one can be calculated based on this relationship. But as I have said before, the change in length when springs are connected in series, the change in length due to the applied load is become different. Therefore, the total change in length can be computed as it is. Change in length 1 plus change in length 2 plus change in length N. The total change in length came from here. Change in length 1 came from here. Change in length 2, change in length 3, change in length N. Now W is common for all and it can be cancelled. Therefore, when springs are connected in series, the equivalent spring constant can be computed based on this formula. This is all about today's section. Thank you very much.